You are officially an insinuator. Welcome to Incense and Common Sense, the live streams that we do here on the Alert Zone TV. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I would love for you guys and you girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. With that being said, hope everybody is having a good night. If you are on the Northeast, I hope you guys and girls are taking the necessary steps to be safe out there. I hear it's snowed pretty good. It did get pretty cold. So hopefully y'all guys and girls are being safe out there. um, Sydney, of course. Oh, I can't call it. I can't call it. Sitting here, I got my old school, my old revolver gun mug and ocean spray. By the way, the gun of the day is sitting next to me, my Echelon. I don't want to pick it up because we on the live stream. Got my ocean spray. I'm drinking cranberry juice tonight. No, ocean spray don't endorse me, but this is just a drink that I love. So it's good. It's refreshing. So I give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. Thank you. This mug was a gift. I had somebody get this for me. A guy that subscribed to the channel here in town had gifted me with this, so definitely I love it. You guys know I got quite a cup collection. I think I got some of them put up in other places, but I got quite a cup collection. So give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. Yeah, make sure you hit the likes button. I'm gonna work on this moderating thing too, y'all. Y'all just bear with me. Oh, before I get started, I really want to make an apology to, I forgot to write the name down of who gave me the idea of doing this on Monday nights. If all is well on Monday nights, I think at least until football season starts, I'll try and do a Monday night live stream once a week. I'm still gonna try to incorporate Midday Mania, Midnight Madness, and just other live streams too. I'm gonna try and do this every Monday. You guys know, girls know, when I get back out here on this road, sometimes it's kind of hard to line that up, but I'm gonna try and line it up for Monday nights between 7 and 9 Central Standard Time to be the start time. I like to try and do 8 o'clock and give everybody a chance to set in. I was running a little bit late, so forgive me. I know I posted 8 o'clock on the community tab, but forgive me because I'm running a little late. How do I feel about the halftime show? I'm going to be honest. It was very interesting. For me, I like the setup. Yeah, that I like the setup. To me, he dove a little bit more into Puerto Rican culture that most people in America that don't see. For those of you who don't know, the majority of the country is segregated. When it comes to Spanish-speaking people, doesn't matter what country they come from, we usually see the light-skinned ones. I paid attention to that halftime show last night, and to me, he showed all the different shades of Puerto Rico. The discussion was had, since you asked, and I'm going to say it, and I don't care who don't like it. If you from a country that speaks Spanish, or your family is from a Spanish-speaking country, the majority of Americans don't know about the dark-skinned people in your country because y'all don't show them. Y'all don't show them musically. On TV, you don't show them. All we see is the light brown to the snow white. That's it. Y'all hardly ever, y'all don't show the dark ones. Me, myself, I got interested to dark-skinned Cubans and Puerto Ricans in boxing. A couple of guys I remember back in the 90s that was kind of dark to be Puerto Rican or to be Cuban. Even like now, it's Landy Lara. That's probably our introduction, but that's boxing. And I mean, that's a blank here and there. All of y'all famous musicians from them Spanish-speaking countries that we've ever seen, Y'all love to show the lightest ones, but y'all show the light brown. We just not used to seeing it. So um, shout out to Bad Bunny, whoever came up with the layout of the cane fields out there in Puerto Rico and showed all the different shades of Puerto Rican. I do say that I think that that was a very upstanding thing to do. And I'm going to say her name. When Jennifer Lopez was up there, she didn't show that. She didn't show the different shades of Puerto Rico. So that's just my personal opinion. Now, as far as what he was singing, it was very hard for me to understand. I'm not super fluent in Spanish, but I can understand it better than I can speak it. And I can tell you just about everything he was singing about, I did not understand. But with that being said, I don't usually make a big deal about who's performing at the Super Bowl. If they perform, they perform. If they don't, they don't. Some people performances have been better than others. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. This gun talk. I just want to say this. As the midterms are vastly approached, we got 7 wonderful people in. Make sure y'all hit that likes button. As the midterms vastly approach, a lot of places in the country that have Democrat majorities. All right, we got 313 Mag number. Appreciate you for stopping through. A lot of people, a lot of Democrats, and I'm not going to turn this into a Democrat-Republican thing, but follow me. A lot of states where they have, all right, appreciate you for dropping in. Yeah, appreciate you. All right, we got Austin, Texas in the building. I hope they keep it Austin, Texas and not turn it into San Francisco like they was talking about. Yeah, man. These Democrats across the country, they're using their majorities to put more and more restrictions on the Second Amendment. And I'm going to tell you why they think they can get this through. We all know that this very first year of Donald Trump's presidency has been very turbulent. It's been a roller coaster. A lot of things that people that voted for him voted for, they didn't. They got the ICE raids. The pricing, as far as food and daily goods, is still not where a lot of people think it should be. It's a work in progress. But I'm going to say this. They're using their majorities. For those of you who don't know, in New Mexico just got a bill passed through their Senate. It's my understanding New Mexico, the Democrats have a majority in both houses. And they have a Democratic governor. The Republicans wanted to deal with them, but they wanted to take the quote-unquote military-style weapon part out of the gun bill, and it got shot down, and the Democrats was able to get it passed through. They talked about gun violence. They talked about school shootings and things like this. And the Republicans' pushback was, you already restricting the law-abiding citizens. It's the criminals that's out here committing these crimes. It's not the law-abiding citizens. It's just more restrictions. I read the comment section, and I'm going to push back against one comment. And I want everybody to understand this, because this is important. I've been screaming this before it was really popular, to say here on YouTube consistently. The Republicans and the Democrats, number one and number two. And then a lot of people that claim they love the Second Amendment, they like the asterisks next to the Second Amendment. They don't really love it like it's written. They love bits and pieces of it. We can have a conservative Supreme Court. The Republicans have a supermajority in the Supreme Court. And yet they're still allowing different states to still have these quote-unquote assault weapons bans. These no reciprocity laws. Right now, the Republicans, if they were serious about the Second Amendment like a lot of people think they were, they would be cramming everything down nationally because they'll have a Supreme Court that'll back them up. And yet they can't get one piece of gun legislation through federally. You can't depend on the Supreme Court. I want people in the Second Amendment community to understand something. We are not in a Republican-Democrat fight. The Republicans don't love the Second Amendment like you think they do. It's a football, it's a wedge issue. All it is, like abortion. All it is the issue for them to kick back and forth. That's all it is. What's going on? We appreciate you, Tactical Ski there. It's just a back and forth. It's a football. It's a hockey puck. It's like playing air hockey. Click, 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 click. That's all it is. These guys and girls, I watched in New Mexico, you had people march on the Capitol down there with their guns and what have you in protest of what's going on. Man, them guys and girls, look, when it comes to the Second Amendment, you're supposed to fight for all of our rights or don't fight at all. Or if you're not going to fight for all of us that are able to be legally armed to be legally armed, well then be very specific. I'm only fighting for this particular group. Stop with the nonsense about the Second Amendment. I've always said this and I'm going to continue to say this. For centuries, there has been a campaign in mass media, whether that be radio or whether that be television and even the internet, that there was going to be a demonization. There was always going to be a fractured Second Amendment. And a lot of people that participated in helping that fracture gain traction are the people that's out there crying. How many of you guys in Virginia right now, because y'all next up on the bat, how many of you guys in Virginia don't like the gun laws, but you was okay when you kept shooting Chicago out of your mouth? You guys and girls supported a lot of other people losing their rights or the demonization of them having rights, and you didn't say nothing. You don't always have to agree with each other about everything. I love the Second Amendment. I don't think it should be no restrictions. I don't care what your political, racial, sexual, musical, whatever your ideology is. When it comes to the Second Amendment, this is supposed to be something that's absolute. And it could be, and it should have been. The problem is it hasn't been absolute basically since it was written, and there never was a real hard-nosed push to make it absolute. And look at it now. Yeah. See, when California in modern times changed the open carry laws, the NRA joined in with them. There was a lot of people across the country that was okay with that. Now, 50 years later, a lot of people see the damage that it done and they don't like it and they're trying to unreverse it. It's kind of like this. Let me go to the streets for a minute. Crack cocaine and powder cocaine. I'm from Louisiana. You guys and girls know. If you're new to the channel, you may not know that. I live in Iowa. I'm born and raised in New Orleans. I'm old enough, I'm 46 years old, to remember the crack epidemic. When all the Rockefeller laws came. The 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act. I'm old enough to remember hearing about it. I didn't understand it at that age, but I heard about it. I remember reading an article about the basketball scores. I thought it was about basketball, but it was about how crack cocaine was getting people numbers that was unheard of. 80, 90 years old. 80, 90 years. Yeah, you're right about that. 80, 90 years used to be unheard of. Crack epidemic, Joe Biden and the Democrats. Yeah, I gotta say it, Bernie Sanders. Oh, appreciate that. It was a gift. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders was a part of this, where 1 gram of crack cocaine equaled 100 grams of powder cocaine. Follow me, everybody, because this is tied into the Second Amendment. Just follow me. 1 gram of crack equaled 100 grams of powder cocaine. There was no outrage about that because crack was supposed to be a black drug. It was the black epidemic. A 7-gram quarter could get you life in prison because you got 700 grams. That's manufacturing. Forget trafficking. That's manufacturing. Those laws got put on the books through the feds. Then comes to the 94 crime bill, and it incentivized the states to line up with the feds. A lot of people, we watched the men, those of us who are old enough to remember, we watched the men go to the graveyard or we watched them go to prison. The ones who didn't get strung out and the ones who said, forget it. I'm not going to be involved in that. We watched a lot of men go to prison behind crack cocaine. That was in 94 when that got passed. You fast forward about 15 years from now, and all of a sudden, in the state of Louisiana, there's a thing here on Angola, about Angola Penitentiary in Louisiana, where this one guy, Sidney Deloach Jr., talks about when he came to prison in the 70s, there wasn't no whites in it. Almost just a small building of them. Now they're everywhere in the prison. I watched a judge give a guy 50 years for crack cocaine. He was white, and I just have to go there. He said, I don't want to give you this much of time, but the mandatory minimum sentence is why I got to do this. A lot of people who are first offenders fell under the mandatory minimum sentence. And that's how the prison population exploded. So you didn't have to have 3 strikes. All you had to do was get caught under the wrong crime. And they can give you 50 to 100 years for your first crime. In Louisiana, New Orleans, if you're old enough to remember back in the 90s, late 90s, the armed robbery thing. Dudes started getting life without parole for one armed robbery. Dudes stopped doing armed robberies for a long time because they didn't like the time that came with that. So you fast forward and you put that with the Second Amendment. It was okay going after the Black Panthers. It was fun because that's a sanctioned target. Here's the problem. When you let somebody do somebody else wrong and you stand there and laugh, and you know they wrong, do not be upset when they turn around and try and do you the same thing. You can't get angry because you was okay with them doing that person who never done you nothing wrong. These gun laws. We've allowed certain things because we didn't control a narrative. GunTube is still in its infancy. I don't think GunTube is more than popular GunTube that we doing now is less than 10 years old. I can tell you that. Probably, I'd say around 2017, 2018 is when it started like coming out of the egg. The egg started hatching. We still a chick in that stage. It's like when the shell started breaking. It still has a ways to go. But doing these type of GunTube videos, whether it's this channel or another channel, whether it's Demolition Ranch. I remember Fat Guy with Guns, Zach, saying that was probably one of the first. So we allowed a lot of people rights to be violated because of negative propaganda. And now it's come back around. There's a lot of people who thought they would never see this day. Luckily, here in the state of Iowa, we got it put in the state constitution. And we've got things where even if, let's just say, this becomes a quote-unquote blue state, as far as the government, we ain't got to worry about them messing with our Second Amendment rights because we've got it enshrined where it can't be messed with. That's simple to do if the Republicans love the Second Amendment like everybody think they do, but they don't really love it. Give you an example. People may not like what I'm about to say, but I want them to listen to me. There's a lot of people that cheer Kyle Rittenhouse on because of why Kyle Rittenhouse went out there. Not because of what he did, but because of what he went out there for. He went out to a BLM protest. That was a sanctioned protest for him to go to with that gun. Alex Preddy, only I'm talking about in the context of him going armed to a protest. A lot of the people who cheered Kyle Rittenhouse on was saying Alex Preddy shouldn't have had a gun out there. You set the precedent when you cheered for Kyle Rittenhouse. If it was okay for Kyle Rittenhouse to do it, it was okay for Alex Preddy to do it. What you guys and girls have to understand about setting a precedent. You may not like what I just said, but I just said the truth. Donald Trump was publicly patting Kyle Rittenhouse on the back for what he did. And then he turned around and said, Alex Preddy, well, we can't bring guns to a protest. That's not what you said a couple years ago. See, one thing about the internet is forever. And sometimes you have to think before you open your mouth. You can't say, yeah, for this person and then no for that person, because then you're going to get called a hypocrite and you got to stand on it. Now, in my research of that, I found out, all right, Dr. T, that California has a law, a state law, according to one of their lawmakers, where you can't have a gun at a protest. And they were saying that you need to know the state laws. Minnesota, people, I was seeing that across the state of Minnesota, more and more people are applying for their concealed carry permits now because they want to get armed. I'm going to say this. If you are of age and it took for these ICE raids and all this going on for you to finally get legally armed, you should be ashamed of yourself. If that's what you got armed for, you got armed for ICE, you got armed for a group of people you can't beat. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You should have been armed. We told you this long before this even happened. Practice your Second Amendment rights. I don't care what school you go to in America. Public. I can't speak about private. The Second Amendment is one thing that is taught across the country. The Constitution. If nothing else is taught, that's taught in school. You should be practicing your Second Amendment. You should have been doing it. But nevertheless, I guess for some people it's better late than never. But I'm seeing that there's a surge, not only there, but around the country, and people wanting to get legally armed. If you're one of those people who saw that shooting with ICE and decided you're going to go out and get you a gun, you see what happened to him. Don't be a fool. Don't go get a gun thinking you're going to take on law enforcement by yourself. Like you're going to be some kind of Billy Badass or like you John Wick or somebody. You're just going to be able to shoot up everybody. It's not going to happen like that. Unfortunately, that's what it took for you to get legally armed. But you got armed. Get armed. Go out and learn them firearms, but learn the laws. This is why I tell you guys and girls, when we have these discussions on this channel, getting armed up here is more important than getting armed here. You got to get armed here first. You got to have an idea, number one. The number one question that people hate for me to ask. Who are you getting armed for? Why are you getting armed? All right, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping through. That's the two questions. Why you getting armed and who you getting armed for? I've told you guys and girls, negative propaganda has been a dangerous thing. I know some of y'all might be getting armed for some South Side of Chicago gangbangers. Although you live 2,000 miles away, don't do that. Those guys ain't gonna travel 2,000 miles to do you anything. Yeah, sometimes it takes something to hit home, you know. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. Gonna ruffle some feathers what I'm about to say, but damn it, I'm gonna say it. Let ICE do their damn job. Stay your ass out of the way. It's not worth it. These guys are armed to the teeth. They have shown you that they will shoot you. If you don't got no business out there, stay your ass out of the way. I'm from the old New Orleans where we had the jump out boys. For anybody that's an immigrant or a child of immigrants that may see this, let me make this clear to you. I'm from the old New Orleans where we had the jump out boys. Where just coming outside was a crime. Being black was a crime. Period, point blank. And they jumped up on us. They didn't ask us to search us. They would jump out the car and snatch us, throw us on the ground, make us put our hands on the hook. They did their little police thing. Carry your damn ID. Game squad in Detroit, okay. Carry your ID. Man, let them go and do their little police thing. They're going to talk to you stupid. They might even rough you up a little bit. Go on, give them your ID, let them do their little police thing and go on about your business. All of y'all, a lot of people that feel affected by the ICE situation, a lot of y'all, before this happened, was saying ain't no racism. There ain't no targeting. If you guys would just shut up, if you guys would follow the law, if you guys would comply, if you guys would stop committing crimes, nothing would happen to you. Ain't no racism out here. Well, you got to stand on it now. All of y'all who done came to the internet and said, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm being targeted because I'm an immigrant or I look like an immigrant. No, it's too late. You guys, this is the kind of conversation about the 2A that I'm talking about. You've helped perpetrate a negative stereotype and propaganda on somebody else for so long. Understand that. And I'm not the most righteous person on the planet. Now it's turning around to bite you in the hand and you don't like it now. No, ain't no racism. Ain't nobody targeting you because you look like an immigrant. No, comply. When they stop you, if you wasn't committing a crime, they wouldn't be stopping you. All that good stuff that people used to say. It don't feel so good as they say when the rabbit got the gun. So, and not to go off in a tangent about it, all I'm saying is if you go get legally armed out here, man, look, you gonna go to protest? Go. I say if you ain't got no business out there, stay your ass at home. But you don't. Yeah, they see it and don't like it. Man, look, them dudes and them chicks got a job to fucking do. Period, point blank. When they would do drug sweeps, everybody ain't a criminal, but we knew being in certain areas, living in certain areas, hey, look, you gonna stop me? Driver license, registration, insurance. Go on, do your thing. Run my name, I ain't got nothing. If you say I was speeding, blah, 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 give me my ticket in court. Go on about my business. So, like I was saying, for a long time, we've allowed a false narrative to be put out there. And it was mainly because before the internet, there wasn't an independent voice. It was just whatever ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox or CNN said, that was law. That was it. Unless you lived in somewhere and you had word of mouth, we didn't have no mass communication of changing the narrative. Now they angry that the internet is here. Part of the reason I do this is, man, look, I don't want nobody to get hurt out there. I don't want innocent people to get hurt. I can understand how you can have a view of somebody you've never been around. As I tell people, I've been to 46 out of 48 continental U.S. states. I've been to Canada twice. I've crossed over and went over in Detroit, the Windsor Bridge right there. I've went into Canada right there, a couple miles up the road, unloaded, reloaded, and came back out. So I can't say I've like went around in Canada. You guys have seen me in Mexico. I've been in quite a few places in Mexico. In America, the majority of the country is segregated. There's a lot of people that has been fed a lot of negative things. There's a lot of people that have had perfume put on them when it's shit that's up under that perfume. Period, point blank. The Midwest, before I moved here, I'll be honest, I was trucking. Visiting somewhere and living somewhere is totally different. It's crime here. It's killing up here. It just don't make the news. Oh yeah, that opioid crisis is tearing the Midwest up. I mean, it is fucking destroying it up here. You want to talk about some damage? You want to talk about how these damn, was it CPS or DHS or whatever they call that shit up here? How they so backlogged with all these damn children that's victims of their parents and they meth and opioid epidemic? Shit. It's the same thing going on here, going on everywhere else. It's shit that has had sugar sprinkled on it. But it's still shit. So, I tell you guys and girls to get legally armed. I like to talk to people about self-awareness, being aware of your surroundings. Crime don't know a color. Crime is like the Grim Reaper. It don't know a color. It don't know a creed. It don't know a sexuality. It don't know none of that. All it knows is that it's crime. Period, point blank. Protecting yourself don't have a color to it. Protecting yourself is just that. If a brown bear, a black bear, and a polar bear come up to you to kill you, all three of them bears, what, you gonna pick one out and say, well, I'm gonna shoot this one because the other two ain't gonna do me nothing? No, you gonna open fire. Well, this is the same thing. You get legally armed to protect yourself and your loved ones. But you have to understand, if you live in a community where there's 1,000 people and y'all live out in the sticks, well, more than likely, the person who try and victimize you gonna be somebody that's right up under your nose. Ain't too many people coming out in the sticks to commit crimes like that. So that's why I asked the question, because I want people to think about that. Who are you getting armed for? We know why you're getting armed, but who are you getting armed for? Are you getting armed for these South Side of Chicago gangbangers that seems to be able to teleport themselves all over the fucking country? That's what you're getting armed for? Like Star Trek, they can beam themselves from damn the south side or the west side of Chicago to down in damn the valley in Texas, or up in the sticks up in Ohio, Idaho, where they got the damn Aryan Brotherhood. Give me a break. They gonna teleport themselves to fucking Maine up there? Bangor, Maine, in the middle of nowhere? Give me a break. No, more than likely you're gonna be victimized by somebody that's close in your vicinity. Criminals commit crimes is a crime of opportunity and in their vicinity. Just like serial killers. They kill where they're comfortable at. Serial killer ain't gonna get up and decide, I'm gonna drive from Washington State to Florida and I'm just gonna start killing indiscriminately. Nah, they had some kind of a tie to Florida, or they've gotten comfortable down there before they started their little crime spree. So you guys and girls have to understand that. There's a lot of people in the town where Brian Kohlberger struck that was probably thinking the same thing. Yeah, I gotta get ready, because what about Chicago? And Brian Kohlberger paid them a visit. I'm always reference this guy, and I know it rubs feathers, but I don't care. There was a guy in Salt Lake City that was giving a little college campus shindig, talking about some Southside gangbangers, and look at who paid him a visit. It's a harsh reality, but it's a reality. It's hard to hear it like that from me because it seems like it has a racial undertone. I'm giving you common sense. I'm telling you, I've been living up here in Iowa for 15 years. I'm from New Orleans. I've seen it. I've seen things from living here that I never would have seen if I didn't move up here, that I never would have thought existed like that. It's here. It's here. You can't fix a problem or prepare for a problem or a threat if you refuse to acknowledge what the threat is. You can't go out into shark infested waters and then say, well, ain't no sharks out here. Well, they're telling you this water is shark infested. So you need to prepare yourself accordingly. But you can't come out there where you say you know there's shark infested waters and say, well, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Cause nah. So I want you guys and girls to think about that. You know, also in California, another gun talk, they're having this fight where I saw the list of places you can't carry in California. My goodness. I can't believe it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. There's a list. I'm still working on trying to get a campaign together for national reciprocity. It's gonna be a process, but like I said, hopefully we can get this done before the midterms, because once the midterms come, you know, who knows what. So just wanted to talk to everybody about that. And switching gears, how's everybody doing out there? And I got a question for everybody. For everybody that have, New York, California. I'm assuming Virginia gonna do it. Illinois has already gotten some places. Mainly, they went after Cook County. Chicago, for everybody who don't know. I got a question for everybody who owns multiple firearms. What's going on? You know what? That was that barbecue yesterday. That was ribs. I had ribs. I had some chicken. I had a pork roast that we wound up doing some pulled pork with. We had some jalapeno poppers or jalapenos stuffed with cheese wrapped in bacon. I smoked those. They came out better than I thought, I guess. This is my first time doing it because the day I had a whole tray full of them. Next thing you know, about 30 minutes later, I turned my head and they was all gone. So, which by the way, let me announce this to everybody. Hopefully I'll have it up and going by the end of the week. I am going to start a second channel. I'll let you guys and girls know when I start it. Yeah, you know what? Moving because of the gun laws, like I said, this is my advice. We got to go state by state. We got to get national reciprocity on the federal level. The purchasing power on the federal level. Try to get these assault weapons bans on the federal level. But also we got to go state by state and get the Second Amendment on every state's constitution. That way it don't matter who becomes and who takes power, red or blue, your rights is defended. That's one thing I do like here about Iowa. They started writing on the wall and said, just in case, let's go ahead on and let's get this into shrine the law so nobody can't mess with it. So yeah, moving for guns. This is a fight, like I said. Better what you gonna get now. Hey, big fan from Indiana or Indian? Are you from Indiana? Cause it said Indian. I'm not sure if is that Indiana. Yeah. That's was it a little toxic? It look. I don't know if you said Indiana or Indian. But yeah, get what you can get. But like I said, I'm from New Orleans. I live up here in Iowa. I live in Iowa. I'm born and raised in New Orleans. Appreciate you for tuning in. I see we got 15 people in. We got 12 likes, so that's good. Oh, India. Okay, you from India. Okay. Shout out to India. This is a worldwide movement. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm glad you chimed in. I wanted to talk about something else I saw. Look, everybody gotta forgive me. My truck in the shop getting some work done to it, and my little blue book I usually keep to make my notes and stuff, I don't have it. Speaking of India, and this being a worldwide movement, I saw something in Nigeria that I think, well, if you go down and check my videos, there's a lot from our country that you can see here in America. There's another one of them, like, mass attacks up there, mass genocides, and something like 300 or 400 people was just stretched out in the village. I know after they had that church massacre where them 50-something people was murdered in that church, one state in Nigeria started allowing people to get legally armed. This is my personal opinion. I would love to see citizens across the world be able to get legally armed, and I'm going to tell you why. Criminals feel comfortable when they know they don't have no resistance. If all they have to worry about is law enforcement, you're looking at my home now. All they have to do is worry about law enforcement. That makes them brave because, well, you don't know how long it's going to take for law enforcement to respond. Criminals and these jihadists and whatever, and I don't want to get too political, are less likely to strike when they're going to meet resistance. And that is something that we as American citizens have to think about when we travel abroad. But my vision for the Second Amendment is getting it where we can get this to other states, other countries, I mean. I know I've had people from Brazil hit me and say, I think they're allowed to have 1 or 2 guns. I had somebody from Australia hit me and say that they're allowed to have a couple guns in Australia. I just say personally, I would like to see more people be able to practice their Second Amendment. And I'm going to tell you, these mass slaughters that go on, I think a lot of this shit will stop overnight. You can raid a village full of men, women, and children when you know it's not an equal fight. You're not so brave to raid a village when you know the men is patrolling in the day and in the night. Now, if you come to that village, it's going to be a firefight. Now, I understand rockets and stuff like that is a little bit different, but still, the point is, for those of you who don't know this, we get geopolitical for a minute. The number one reason other countries refrain from attacking America is they've made it clear. Not only do we have to contend with the military, America has the most armed citizens in the world. There's a gun behind, as they say in other countries, there's a AK-47 behind every door in America. So if a foreign country on foot tried to invade America, the military would have unprecedented backup. It would be a bloodbath. That has been the number one reason. It's not just the American military like everybody thinks. The number one reason people have not tried to do a land invasion here, and this is a fact, is because if they cross American borders with that BS, they're going to meet gunfire no matter which way they come in. So they just decided that it's not strategically smart to do that. I believe personally, if they didn't have so many armed Americans, somebody would try the American government. Somebody would try the American military just to see. But they understand, not only do you have to worry about the military, but the everyday people. At the end of the day, whether we agree or disagree on politics, the majority of us right now, if this country got invaded, the men probably would put the children and the women up. And the women, some of them probably would grab their shit to come out there with us. But we would go out into the woods. We would go out into the swamps. We would go out into the mountains. And we'd start pulling heads. And these people know that, because understand something. America is not a homogenous country. America is a melting pot. There's people from countries all around the world here. You don't think they talk to people where they from about, man, these people over here got so many doggone guns, it's all right. They won't. These people got so many guns here in America, it's unreal. There's no way in the world. I will tell you this. Even the criminals would put their differences aside with law-abiding citizens to go out and protect the country. I honestly think that. Because you know what? We got to live here. And I'm going to tell you something. Once you get used to being able to be legally armed, when you travel abroad, out of the country, boy, that becomes a very eerie feeling when you leave American shores and you can't have a firearm with you. That's why you have to be careful when you travel. I always say, if you're going to travel to somewhere you never been, stay in the tourist areas. If you want to venture outside of there, go to that country with somebody that you know. Yeah. Go to with somebody you know and have them take you around. Do not go to these other places like that. Traveling abroad is different than here. It's very different than here. It is very, very different than here. So, you guys and girls have to just always keep that in mind. Your safety is first. For immigrants, the children of immigrants, the grandchildren of immigrants here in America, I don't care what you do in your homeland. When you here, you able to be legally armed, go get you one. Go get you some. Go get some of these. Learn it. Don't tell me about what you do or don't do in your country. You ain't there. You here. You live here. Adopt what's the laws here. Protect yourself, man. Protect yourself. Throughout the years, there's been a lot of people that have lost their lives and their loved ones have said, in our country, we don't do this. In our country, we don't carry guns. Well, you ain't in your country. You here. Just like if I move to another country, I need to learn what the laws are there and what measures are in place for me to protect myself. Period, point blank. Which is why, I'll be honest, even though you have Americans moving abroad, a lot of Americans prefer to stay here because of the rights that we have and the things we're able to do to protect ourselves. When you're in a foreign country, you're taking a chance on yourself having a damn pocket knife, let alone a gun. You know what I'm saying? And that country can hold you until they're ready to let you go because you on foreign soil. So there was a story of a guy from either California or Arizona. Yeah, they like to target defensive people over here. But there was a guy go to Mexico all the time for vacation, man, and he forgot he had his damn gun in the car. He crossed the border, and a couple miles up, they had one of them little checkpoints, and they stopped him, and they searched their car, and he was like, oh, I forgot I got that gun under the seat. But because he had already crossed the country line, they took him to jail. Shit, he stayed in jail for 2 damn years before they let him go. And they finally turned him loose, and he was just like, man, he came back to America because this crime happened in Mexico. And he talked about, man, I didn't do it on purpose. I just forgot. Having firearms is almost like underwear. You keep it on you. Okay. Your dual citizenship in Sierra Leone, huh? Yeah, I know some people here in Iowa that's from Sierra Leone. I'm gonna say something. For those of you who don't know, the state of Iowa, in the city of Des Moines, although Des Moines is getting so expensive now, a lot of people moving out. In the state of Iowa, there's more Africans here than there are foundational Black Americans. I know Waterloo is supposed to be like the biggest black city here, but besides that, there's more Africans here than anything. I know people from 25 different countries in Africa, countries I had never heard of. I know some people that's from Sierra Leone that came here during the Civil War with Fodi Senghor, and they talk about the short sleeve, long sleeve, when they was cutting the people's hands off and cut their arms off up to here. For those of you who don't know, there's documentaries. What's going on, pause and play? There's documentary. There's documentaries about the Sierra Leonean War and how many people since that Civil War ended that don't have hands. I mean, like literally, both of these are gone. To some people, it's cut off to the elbows, because of the whole diamond thing and what have you. I know a lot of Liberians. There's a real, of all the Africans we have in Iowa, I think there's more Liberians and South Sudanese than anything else. I know a lot of Liberians. I know one that I consider to be a brother, my brother George. We've had discussions about that, their Civil War, laying next to dead bodies for days, sleeping at night so you can get up in the morning and start running because the rebels coming. That's a hard life to live. The one thing we do have as Americans is if that stuff happened here, we can grab our guns, even if we had to go into the woods, to the swamps, the mountains. We got something to protect ourselves, number one, and we got guns where we can keep putting food on the table. All of us can figure out how to make a damn fire, and all of us know your damn diet goes out of the window when it's survival time. You'll eat that damn wild hog if you got to stay alive. All that fish or whatever it is you claim you don't eat, all that goes out of the window when survival time comes. But we have the tools to get out there. It's different. It's different when you come from somewhere you know what? I'm going to tell a graphic story. I know this is a Second Amendment channel, but since this subject came up, during the Liberian Civil War, they was talking about how these little boys was hyped up on drugs and how they would stop pregnant women trying to flee the conflict. And they would make bets on what she's carrying, and they would cut her stomach open in the middle of the street and pull the baby out to see if it's a boy or if it's a girl. That's horror a lot of us can't even imagine. I know a woman personally that was pregnant during the Liberian Civil War when Charles Taylor and Samuel Dole was fighting for control of the country. And she said she went into labor in the middle of the street. And they grabbed her and took her to a church. And she had her baby in a church. And that they had to stay hidden under the pews and hope that nobody didn't come up in there. Seeing death ain't normal. Especially if you're a kid. You guys and girls know I've shared a story about the first time I saw a murder. The next time I go home and I have the time, I'm going to get with eyes and ears and I'm going to take him to that place. And I told him I would do an exclusive on this channel. And I'll show you guys the very first place I saw a murder. And I'll walk y'all through it. As bad as I thought some of the things I saw growing up, when people come from some of these war-torn countries, some people are willing to talk about it. Some people, they're so traumatized that they just shut down. When you travel this country, when you travel this world, or when you talk to people from other countries and just have a conversation when they feel comfortable with you, some of the things that they experience, you couldn't in your wildest dream fathom. I don't know what it's like to hear a grenade or to hear a rocket launcher or mortar blow up a building. I do know what it's like to get somebody brain splattered all over me. I do know what it's like to see dead people. I know what it's like to can't come out to go to school because the front yard is a crime scene. And there's a dead body down there. I know what it's like to look out of the window any given night and watch somebody get killed. As horrible as that is, I don't know what it's like at 8 or 9 years old to have to get up at 5 in the morning and have to start running because the rebels coming. To be hungry as a kid, or to be a grown man and I can't even defend myself. And I have to grab my family and hope they don't catch us. I used to live on a corner back in the 80s called Killer Corner. Washington and Russia Blade. I can't tell you how many people, by the time I was probably 8 years old, I had seen killed on that corner. It was rough. I will say, if I could use this word, I was fortunate enough to live where gangsters didn't do things to children. I was fortunate enough to live where people would tell us go inside, because if so-and-so come around here and he ain't got my money, what I'm doing? I try and have these discussions for people who never had to deal with that. For suburban people, I'm not going to tell you that they don't have murders in the suburbs, because they have them. Told you guys, small town, rural, and suburban America is the number one places for murder suicides. But for those of you who love to imitate what you think the hood is, there's nothing funny about death. There's nothing cool about that, because you don't come back from that. I've seen people come out of the suburbs, out of the small rural towns, and the city ruined them. They wanted to go back home because actually having to be a part of that was something they wasn't used to. When I tell you guys and girls to get legally armed, when I'm telling you how to move, is because it was a part of life. I'm not going to tell you I didn't have good times in my life, because I don't want people to think that I spent my whole life ducking. But I can tell you this. I came of age during a really rough time. 1994 was probably the roughest year in America, period. I don't care what city you lived in. If you was a teenager or an adult in 1994, you know what I'm talking about. It's as though something okay. It's as though something was in the damn water or the air in 94. I don't think there was a damn safe thank you, Dr. T. I don't think there was a safe city in this country Soldier Slim said it best, man. If you lived past 94 and you was out here, you're a gangster. And I'm not going to even tell you I'm a gangster, but I was out getting into stuff I shouldn't have been getting into. And I'm still living to tell the story. I watched the streets change. When I started doing videos specifically for women, it's because I watched the streets change. I remember back, unless it was a domestic situation, men wouldn't hit a woman. They would tell her, go get your old man. Go get your brother. Go get so-and-so. I watched that go out the door. At first, they would say guys that would hit girls was punks. And they ain't no man. And they blah, 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 blah. And all this equality crap kept getting pushed up on these women. And they kept encouraging them to keep opening their mouth and brace up to men. And men started slapping the shit out of them. Then they started slapping the shit out of them with guns. Then they got around to actually going out to kill them. And I'm not talking about in these domestic situations. I'm talking about on some street stuff. It used to be unheard of. If a woman got shot, the first thing everybody would say is her husband or her boyfriend. If you look at any crime show, now and then, when a woman get killed, the first thing they want to know is she married or do she have a man? That's suspect number one. Ain't like that no more. Because these dudes in the street will blow a female's head off and not blink. That's why I tell y'all ladies, go out there and get legally armed. Learn them firearms. Carry it on your person, not in your purse all the time. Get used to it. Because you never know when you're going to have to defend yourself. Criminals are not brave. Criminals are not gunslingers. They're ninjas. They prefer stealth. They prefer to come in, get whatever they're coming from, and get out of there. If there's going to be a shooting, they want to catch you off guard. 911 can't stop a bullet. You can dial 911 all you want. It cannot stop a bullet. Get legally armed. Please. In these churches. Yeah, criminals don't want to get shot. I don't care how much body armor they got on. In these churches. Look. Church. Yeah, all criminals ain't killers. All criminals are not killers. Church is like the new killing field. With all the church shootings we done had in the last 20 years, if you're still going in church unarmed, I don't know what to tell you. I know some of y'all feel comfortable because your church has stepped up security. But self-defense is up to you. Because the last big church shooting that we had in, was it Detroit or is it, was that out there where them damn Muslims at? I mean, not them damn Muslims, but you know what I'm talking about. Out there where they having all the fit right now, outside of Detroit. When that guy went there to that church. He did his damage out in the parking lot. You might be safe in the church, but you still got to come out. Get legally armed, people. A $230 G2C can be the difference between you living and you dying. Just think about that. If you just one of these people that want one gun, get your little G2C. Learn it. Carry it on you. That $200 and something decision can save your life. You know what's cool about life? Coming up, I got to watch people get old. Yep, okay, saw $199, okay. I watch people get old. I remember back in the hood when we had real old folks. Mr. Joe, that was the neighborhood mechanic, came home from his little carpenter job in the evening time. Mr. Joe smoked his little cool filter kings. He see you struggling on the car, he come. He talk to you and that cigarette bouncing off his lip, but it don't fall while he talking to you. I remember that. I remember my grandmothers, rest their souls. One lived to be almost 90 and the other one got to be 82, 83. Man, don't take your safety for granted. My family knew that I always kept it on me. Wow, that's great. 101? Man, I wish her many more. I wish her many more. My family knew I kept it on me. My friends knew I kept it on me. I knew my friends kept it on them. What's going on, Baha Baha? My friends, everybody know that we kept it on us. And it's going to be what it's going to be. Yeah, you know what? Hey, you go to New Orleans or you go anywhere on this damn planet and dig some of them people up. Oh, yeah. I kept a gat. For those of you who don't know that song, Get the Gat, Get the Gat, Get the Gat. That's one of the famous songs in New Orleans, the bounce song. Get the Gat, Lil Elk. Get the Gat, Get the Gat, Get the Gat. But as I told you guys and girls, the first gun I ever shot was a Larson 25. That was the first gun I ever owned, was a Larson 25. And I got rid of it because it had that little hair trigger and it would go off. Mine didn't go off, but then I got me a little 22 and I got two of them. And my mama found them under the bed and she threw them away. And of course I got an ass kicking for that because I was underage and I wasn't supposed to have that. You know, I got it out in the street, I'll be honest. And then I got my hands on the Saturday Night Special and that was it. I thought I was the baddest thing on 2 damn feet once I got a hold of a Saturday Night Special. Don't jam. Boy, looky here, looky here. Boy, I like Barnaby Jones. We call him One Shot Barnaby. When I was able to get legally armed, I got legally armed. Not because I went out looking for trouble. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whole Saturday Night Special. And I love doing this content. I love getting this content out there. The channel is growing and the message is getting out there. Like I said, you know, it's not for everybody, but I'm okay with that because I'm going to keep banging this drum. Because I want everybody to be safe out there. I would love to go to a time where, yeah, old Barnaby Jones, we call it, in New Orleans, we call him One Shot Barnaby. You know, old Buddy Epson run behind you with that little suit on with his slow ass, old Jed Clampett, and fire one shot and he hit you and kill you. So we call him One Shot Barnaby. Them old police service revolvers. So One Shot Barnaby. I just want people to be armed. I'll tell you guys, we used to have a police chief in New Orleans named Richard Pennington. My goodness, I miss that man. When he first took the police department over, man, it was you guys don't have no idea what kind of shambles that department was in. Richard Pennington was the only police chief we ever had in New Orleans that made me feel comfortable enough that some places I went, I didn't even have a gun on me. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I just got to say this. A lot of the crime that went on in New Orleans, NOPD was a part of. That's a fact. Vice, Gavin McInnes. I got my thoughts about the guy because he said some things in the past to let us know where he stands. That's fine. But Vice has a series called Betraying the Badge. There's an episode about NOPD and Lynn Davis. It still didn't do justice on just how much damage that dude caused. It talks about him with the drug thing. It did not still, and it talked about how people in the project was afraid of him and didn't like him because how violent he was. It still was only a smidgen of what that guy. If you from New Orleans, you know. It's like one of them things. If you know, you know. If you from New Orleans from that time, you know. Yeah, man, people don't understand how feared. I was from Uptown and knew who this dude was. And he was supposed to be a downtown patroller. That dude hand reached all across New Orleans, and with the snap of a finger, he can get your fucking head blowed off. There's dudes in Angola right now behind that man. That man been locked up since the 90s. There's dudes in Angola right now behind that man that he set up back in the 90s. That was, excuse my language, that was a no good motherfucker, boy. That would, you guys don't have people in LA. The movie Training Day, Rafael Perez, the character that Denzel Washington played in that movie, Lonzo. In real life is Rafael Perez. It's something like what Lynn Davis was. That was a dirty dude. And let me tell you something. A lot of them dudes who got in trouble with him, they used to stop them little girls for truancy and take them to them fucking hotels on Tulane Avenue and fucking have sex with them. Yeah. You know several officers that was running when Lynn Davis got in trouble for doing that shit when he got indicted. Because he ratted on everybody. Oh yeah, when they gave him the death penalty, when they told him about the death penalty, he told on everybody about everything. For those of you who don't know, you can't have the crime you have in the big cities without law enforcement being involved. And I'll tell you what I mean. I know what it's like for every other car to be a fucking cop car. I know what that's like. Every other car that passes you is a damn patrol car. How you got that many cops and you still got all this crime going on? Then when these cops start getting caught doing something small, hell, there was an officer just right before the beginning of this year, the end of 2025 in New Orleans, got arrested for trafficking crack cocaine and other substances. He's in jail right now for trafficking. They want to take him to trial. Anywhere on the planet, you can't have mass crime without law enforcement. All your mob movies, remember, all the Italians has the Irish had the control of the police force. 5th District is the worst. It was like Miami Vice. 5th District. That was in the Ninth Ward, right? The 5th District. Yeah, because I'm from the 6th District. Well, police department. Yeah, because you know what? I used to live, believe it or not, I used to live in the Florida Project. I lived in the Florida Project for 4 years. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, with the Ninth Ward being correct me if I'm wrong, the Ninth Ward is the biggest ward in New Orleans, right? Because you got Desire, Florida, Press Park, all down through there, then you got across the canal. So yeah, I think the Ninth Ward is the biggest ward that we got in New Orleans. Well, yeah, the 5th District, yeah. And I'm an uptowner, and I know about the 5th District. So you can just imagine for the people who spent their whole life living down there, what they went through, you know? So, and this is not to go off on a tangent about law enforcement. I'm just saying, this is why you got to get yourselves legally armed, because the people who's supposed to be protecting you, a lot of times are the ones that's putting you in harm's way. You cannot, I don't care where you go on this planet, you cannot have a crime syndicate without law enforcement. Yeah. Yeah, you can't. You can take me to any country in the world where they got organized crime, and I guarantee you I can show you law enforcement being involved. You can't have it without them. You can't. So you have to take your safety into consideration. Especially if you've never left the shores of America, my goodness. Seeing law enforcement in a foreign country, I want you to understand something. If you're an American, if you're an immigrant, if you came here at 3 years old and you 30 now, you was raised here in America. When you go back to whatever country you're from, they know you're an American. I'll answer that in just a second. When you leave America, they know you're an American. Hell, there's Nigerians that'll tell you when they go back to Nigeria, they call them white or they call them American. Law enforcement know that. You don't understand when you leave America how much you at the mercy of other people. You at the mercy of a lot of people when you leave these shores, so you have to be careful. You have to move accordingly. You have to understand you can't talk to law enforcement in a foreign country like you can here. But answering your question, Destro, I'm going to tell you something about them seized guns in New Orleans. Soulja Slim got killed, it's my understanding, with an old cop gun, with a stolen cop gun. Them guns they seize out of evidence, them damn cops go and sign that shit out and they go get that to they damn hitmen. You guys and girls want to know how so many guns available? This is why I always say a Beretta 92, I would never bring to New Orleans because I'm too afraid of being stopped and NOPD taking it from me. And they got this little game that they run. They'll tell you, let's say you're in the 5th district, come down to whatever the police station is and get it. And when you show up, they'll tell you ain't no gun here. They'll take that and you'll never see it again. So yeah, they take them guns and they give them out on the street. And what have you. You guys and girls know, man, look, that's a rabbit hole. If I went down, man, we can be here for another damn week. Okay, yeah. Okay, they got recycled, and some of them got recycled, and some of them wind up out on the street. And they used in crime, so. The Detroit 2nd Police Precinct. You know what? You guys and girls know since I drive, I've been all over the country. I got some stories about pretty much everywhere. For those of you who never been to Detroit, I've never seen that much of bulletproof glass in my life until I went to Detroit. Everywhere I went to eat besides the Golden Corral was a bulletproof glass. Coney Island, I had never been in a McDonald's where inside the lobby there's bulletproof glass up and they give you your food, you know, like when you go to the window, they sit in the window and turn it around to. I had never seen that. I refused to eat at McDonald's the first time I went to Detroit. So I called myself being smart and saying, well, I'm going to go to this Coney Island. And it was the same shit. I've never, ever, to this day, seen the amount of bulletproof glass that I seen in Detroit. My goodness. Subway, the gas station, the corner store, everywhere we went. And I had a teammate, I was running team at the time, who took us around. He took me around in his Uncle Cadillac. Everywhere we went was fucking bulletproof glass. I finally said, what is it with all this bulletproof glass everywhere? And then he started laughing. He said, man, you in Detroit, man. He said, you don't know what happened to you up here. Yeah. So that was the first time I got my taste of Detroit. So, yeah, I've never seen that amount. I've never seen the amount of bulletproof glass that I've seen in Detroit. And I've never seen the amount of burglar bars, and not just the bars on the windows, but the ones on the doors, the burglar screen doors. I've never seen that much of burglar bars and stuff until I went to LA. I don't think there's a house in LA that don't have bars on the windows and bars on the damn doors. I've never seen that many bars and stuff. I was like, my goodness, where am I? And when I say LA, I mean just like the LA and the metro area. Compton, Inglewood, Watts, probably some other, Cudahy, Southgate, everybody got a damn big old damn iron gate on their door. You know what? Now that sounds like Jamaica with the bars, and as a firefighter, I heard, yeah, okay, and that. Yeah, man, I'm just telling you my experiences of going around the country. I was in awe the first time. I said, damn, everybody got burglar bars on their windows and in their doors, and it was like, yeah, because if you don't have them, you'll get broke into. You know what I'm saying? So I've been around. Yeah, I've been around enough places in the country that I can tell. I'm not gonna tell you like I know to the street to apartment where dangers are, but I've seen enough of places to say you got to be armed. Baltimore, my goodness, was rough. There's a couple places they told us when we went to Baltimore, don't even stop at the sign. Just lay on your horn and go to the damn stop sign. New York. I'll tell you guys a story about New Jersey first and then New York. I was driving for Swift at the time. We were supposed to be going to North Bergen, New Jersey. But this was before GPS. You know what? I don't know a lot about Pittsburgh. I've came through there a couple times, but I don't really know a lot about it. It's more mountainous than I thought. And we were lost. And this guy I was running team with had a habit of going in these damn no truck routes. If you've never been in the Northeast, you don't understand. Jersey, New York City, Delaware, Philly, a lot of those streets are small because they was built like these are some of the first settlements in America. It's like being in the French Quarter in New Orleans. It's very small, the streets. So it's hard to get a 53-footer through there, especially if you got a sleeper. If you got a day cab and maybe a 45-footer or even a 53, you can maneuver a little bit better. So we go through this neighborhood and we can't find this place. And there's a sign say, no trucks over 5 tons or something. I tell him don't go through there. He goes through there. And we get stuck in this neighborhood, man. And it's like 3 o'clock in the damn morning. So I tell him, we go to this corner. We got to make a U-turn in this truck. So we back it up. We got traffic blocked trying to make this turn. A cab driver pulls up, and he's just honking the horn at us, honking the horn. So finally we get out and tell him we stuck. And he's like, I got to fail to pick a... I mean, he's just having a fit, man. I mean, this guy cussed us from A to Z. And then this joker on my parents' grave, this joker got angry and pulled a damn AK-47 out on us. And we were standing in the middle of the street like that. And he was saying, give us a reason. Give him a reason not to shoot us. We doing our job, dude. We lost. So for those of you who never been in the Northeast, when the streets get jam packed, they will drive on the sidewalk. Especially if you go to New York City, they will pull up on the sidewalk to make a corner. Dr. T can tell you that. I'm not lying about it. So this guy, so we get close to making this U-turn, but we can't turn all the way because there's a car parked where it shouldn't be parked, because that's the way people up there park. They'll park on the corner, they'll double park, and they hope that you hit them so they can sue you. That's what they do up there in New York City. So this one cop, we finally call it, cops come out there. He gives us the 3rd degree. What's going on, Well-Dressed Tactical? Yeah, man. So he gives us the 3rd degree. And he goes in, he says, okay, this guy got to move this car. And we was like, well, we've been asking, blowing the horn, nobody came out. So he calls the guy and tell him you need to move your car. And the guy tells him, I ain't moving shit. He said, okay, tear his fucking car. My partner got back in the truck to start turning, and this dude come run down the stairs and move his car, and we get out of that neighborhood. Finally, we find this place in North Bergen, and we get out of there. New York. I think I was in Brooklyn. For those of you who thinking of driving a semi, there's a big reason a lot of companies say no Northeast, no New York City. You guys and girls don't have no idea how hard it is to maneuver a vehicle on top of all the ignorant motherfuckers that live up there. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. I know I'm trying to stop using so much profanity in these videos, but all the ignorant motherfuckers they got live up there. And unfortunately, because New York City in the Northeast is still stuck in the damn 1700s, they'll send you to a meat packing plant and it'll be smack dab in the middle of a hood. But in order to get unloaded, you gotta block the street, and you gotta back, some of these places you gotta back down the street and back around the alley or back around the corner. It just jams traffic up. Man, as you doing that, these people will drive behind you. They'll drive up on the sidewalk. If they really get angry, they'll park behind your truck and they won't move. I mean, these people are ignorant and they stupid. They'll watch you back into a dock. They'll pull past your truck. They'll get out and come knock on your truck and they'll cuss you out, man. I've seen guys up there. Yes, if you've never been to New York, these people are stupid. They will do you that. Ask any truck driver. Most truck drivers don't like going to New York City because of that. Those are some very rude people. I've been to neighborhoods and I used to hear something and I didn't believe it until I saw it with my own 2 eyes. They'll have a meat warehouse in the middle of a neighborhood or a TV where something, everybody knows what you're carrying because you on this particular street in this particular block. So they already know where you're going. I've seen them back a pickup truck up to a refrigerated truck while he's at the stop sign or the red light, break the seal and the lock off of it, and as the truck going forward, you got 2 people on the back of the truck. One is on the pickup, one then jumped in the trailer, and the pickup truck is backing up behind the semi and they're unloading it as it's going down there. I've seen that with my own 2 eyes. I could not believe that. I used to think that was a myth. I said, no way, until I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Yes. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you what you do. Go on YouTube. Go to some of these old school truckers that have YouTube channels and ask them. They'll verify what I'm telling you. I used to think there's no way that that could be true. That's a trucker's tale. And I saw it with my own 2 eyes. They sure don't. The most flies I've ever seen is at that Bronx market, boy. Taking fruit and meat up to the Bronx market, the meat market up there. My goodness. When you get ready to get out of your truck, you better have your paperwork and everything ready, you gotta barely open the door and get in and close it back. You open that door and get out, man, you're gonna have so many flies inside that truck, and you better not crack that window. You better not crack that window. I've never seen that many flies in one place, like the Bronx market. Yeah, I've never seen like that. So yeah, that's just some of the places I've been. I seen somebody mention Miami. Miami is where a lot of them like what they call them flat screen, like LED TVs and smart TVs and all that shit, docks in Miami. When you go to pick them up, man, you gotta go through this rigorous thing. They tell you to make sure that you got time to drive, that you got fuel in your truck and that it's full, or they won't load you. When you leave, you cannot stop between Miami and Jacksonville if you're going up 95. If you're going up 75, so for those of you who never been to Miami, you go up 95 and then you catch Alligator Alley and it brings you to 75. It turns into Interstate 75. They tell you straight up and they monitor your truck. Don't stop this truck for 350 miles. Because people know what you have and they will follow you to steal them damn TVs off that truck. Yeah. Miami, another one of them places that the street on this block can be northwest something. You drive 2 blocks and then you see in southeast this and then. Them streets are very confusing in Miami. You can get lost quick. I've been down to Little Haiti, the Swamp, Overtown, Miami Gardens, Hialeah, Medley, Miami Beach, South Beach. I've been to all those places down there. Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale. West Palm Beach was another place that surprised me. When I expected to see beaches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys. That's it. I went to West Palm Beach and went over this bridge. When I came down, I saw wicks, I saw dreadlocks, I saw gold teeth, and I saw AK-47s. I said, what the hell? That's not what they show on TV. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I didn't think there was homeless people in Miami until I went. When I got off the interstate and I saw all them, and this was in 2003, I saw all them homeless encampments. I was looking for Miami Vice. That's what I went down there looking for. Yeah, man. Yeah, this country is wow. Yeah, man. I mean, I binge watched Cops ever since Cops became a thing. I even still binge watch it now, but back then, I still had this thought of Miami Vice in my head. For whatever reason. Daytona Beach? Shit. You go about 3 blocks from that racetrack, it ain't nothing but the hood on Highway 1. I'm not sure what's the name of that street. But if you get off where the racetrack is, where they do the Daytona 500, across the street used to be a Kmart. I used to deliver flowers there. Well, if you go straight up the street to the light once you pass the racetrack, it's Highway 1. You make that left and go up 2 or 3 blocks, it's crackheads walking everywhere. I said, what the hell? I'm thinking of this being like this NASCAR and just people out on the beach getting tanned. And here we got crackheads running up and down, crackheads going wild out there. Broward County, okay. Yeah, man. Florida is one of them places to me. Yeah, Florida is like this. Florida is like being in 2 different states. Interstate 10, Pensacola to Lake City, is like being in Alabama or southern Georgia. You start heading south on 75 or 95, then you start seeing the Florida that you see on TV. Then when they say the Florida Georgia line, and what's that band that's called the Florida Georgia line? It's because it don't look no different. Literally, if you go to Valdosta, you drive from Valdosta, Georgia to Lake City, Florida. If the sign didn't say welcome to Florida, you wouldn't know the difference. You would not know the difference if the sign didn't say that. They look just alike. But yeah, man, I've like I said, I've been into some of these places, man. And Philly is another wild place, boy. Philly is another wild place. I've been over some areas in Philly, and then I've been in some areas I was like, nah, I ain't going there. Nah, I'm good. I'm good where I stand. Connecticut, Hartford surprised me. I didn't think Hartford was hood like that. I seen some hood spots when I went up I used to go to the farmer's market up there in Hartford and take them, I used to carry them tomatoes and pickles and cucumbers. Yeah, man. So Hartford, Connecticut, Bridgeport, and Greenwich were all them, Bridgeport and Greenwich. Well, Greenwich was kind of like more uppity. Bridgeport was kind of. But yeah, I went up there. Cheshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts. I've been to Boston a couple times. I really don't care for the place. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of Jamaicans in Bridgeport. Yeah. I've gotten around. I can tell you that. I can tell you probably, been to Baltimore. My goodness, been to Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore's rough. Baltimore's rough. I've been to New Hampshire. If you do like that and open your eyes, you done passed New Hampshire already. It's that small. You blink and open your eyes and you done went through New Hampshire. Yeah, man, New Hampshire, Vermont. Vermont is the greenest, like they say, is like the green, what they call it, the green state or something. Yeah, man, in the summertime, it's really, really green out there. I've been up Highway 1 in Maine. So for those of you who don't know, those super wealthy people that live in Maine, when April come, they put their yachts on big trucks and they send them down to Florida. No. Let me rephrase that. When October come, they send them down to Florida to their winter home. When March come or April, they send them back up to Maine to their summer home because it's cooler up north than it is down south, and then there's less of a chance of a hurricane. You ride up the coast, man, you don't see nothing but big old yachts out there. Nothing but big old yachts. Yeah, man, you don't see nothing but big old yachts up there. And I said to myself, wow, boy. I said, wow, these people got money up here. And I went to deliver flowers at a Kmart in Maine. And boy, I walked in there. And it was like on Life when Claude and Ray walked up into that diner. And everybody stopped. Boy, I walked up in there with my paperwork. I think all the customers and the employees in the damn store stopped and looked at me. And I was looking at them. And I started laughing. I said, hey, I got a load of flowers for y'all. Some of these people was looking at me. I'm not kidding. Like they saw a fucking unicorn. I'm not kidding. Man, I can tell you guys and girls about some of the places I've been. I've been to a place in Alabama. Straight up. A little small town. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's on the map. It's a little small town. And I had an old white woman come up to me and ask me, could she touch my face? I said, excuse me? I've seen black people on TV, but I've never seen one in person. Boy, I put that damn Coke out of the back in that damn cabinet and I hauled ass out of that damn store. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got out of there. I said, shit, I know I'm in the wrong. I know I'm in the wrong place. You ain't never seen one of us before. Let me go. Let me get out of here. I'm in the wrong place. I promise. I promise, man. Yeah, man, I've been to West Virginia. The hills do have eyes. I know it's a movie. Listen to Listen to me. The hills have eyes. Y'all remember that wrestler Hillbilly Jim? Hillbilly Jim is a real person, just without the shoes. The hills have fucking eyes. I'm not lying. Man, y'all hold on one second. I'll tell y'all a story. I'm pretty sure some of y'all heard this before. Sorry about that, everybody. So, in 2002, I went to Millington, Tennessee. I went to Millington, Tennessee to get my truck driving license, my CDL. Swift had just bought out MS Carriers. I got hired as MS Carriers, but Swift bought them out, so I went to Swift. So my first trip in trucking school, I heard a lot of these jokes. And I was like, I don't pay these guys no mind because they just talking out the side of their ass. I would hear these jokes about West Virginia, about the inbreds, and oh, what's the first thing a woman from West Virginia say after sex? Dad, get up because you smashing my cigarettes. And I was like, you, who comes up with these kinds of jokes? You know, I thought these people fucking something wrong with these people. So I'm getting loaded to go to Laredo, Texas. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'm glad this live popping. I guess I'll keep going. So I'm getting loaded. I got loaded in West Virginia, in Pennsylvania, to go to Laredo, Texas. So me and another driver. Yeah, man. I was wondering. I didn't think that was funny. But me and this other driver, we stop at Western Sizzling. And we go to this Western Sizzling in Charleston, West Virginia. They had truck parking. Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you. I'm getting to that. And we go in this Western Sizzling, man. And Western Sizzling have a buffet. So we sitting down, we eating, and we talking, you know. And we got loads going to Laredo. And I just started noticing, damn, they show a lot of people with Down syndrome here. Show a lot of people with Down syndrome here. So finally I asked the waitress, I said, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. I said, did they have some kind of tour bus or some kind of field trip coming here? And she said, what you mean? I said, why so many people with Down syndrome in here? She started laughing. I said, well, what's funny? She said, you don't know? I said, what you mean? You ain't never heard the stories about West Virginia? I said, what stories? And, okay. And I said, what stories? She said, those people inbred. I said, no. Them stories true? She said, yeah. I started looking into it. Sure enough, Soft White Underbelly did a story, and where he had this family from West Virginia, man, I'm telling you, I had never seen that before. I was like, so this shit is not a joke. This shit is serious. I mean, I had never seen that before. I said, my goodness, where am I? And then she said, you know the hills have eyes out here, huh? I said, yeah. Earlier, I saw Hillbilly fucking Jim. I said, yeah, I'm telling you, this guy looked like he had to be 7 feet tall. He had about 3 teeth in his mouth, and he had that fishing hat, as we call him, real low, and he's standing there, and he's looking, And you can tell these people don't got no plumbing. Hey man, let me tell you something. When them steel mills and stuff left West Virginia, man, they really messed up what was the infrastructure of that state, man. You can see the remnants of that. Yeah, that was the first time I had been to West Virginia, man, and I had heard, like I said, I had heard all these stories, man. And turns out to be true. Yep, coal mines and steel mills destroyed West Virginia. So you know what? When it comes to voting and things like that, and they talk about the Rust Belt, I done been through the Rust Belt. Yeah, you know what? I just hope that he financially took care of them like he was supposed to, man, because it's not their fault. But yeah, man, like I said, for those of you who never been to Pennsylvania, how did they destroy West Virginia? Well, the steel mills and the coal was their number one industries, steel and coal. They started closing a lot of them coal mines. And because they started closing a lot of them coal mines, people didn't have a job. Well, people still got to live. You from Western Pennsylvania? Okay, I was just finna say, Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia got hit hard when they talk about the Rust Belt. So I was just finna say about the state of Pennsylvania, as they say, Pennsylvania is Philadelphia in the east, Pittsburgh in the west, and Alabama in the middle. So in the middle of Pennsylvania, because it's a really big state, it's nothing but mountains. Yeah, where it's nothing but mountains and stuff. So you got, like, at the top of a mountain, you might see the lights on at night because somebody live up in the mountain. But you got to go down in the valley to go to a lot of these small towns. So, yeah, I've seen Pittsburgh. That's why they call it the Steelers. It used to be Steel City. I watched a lot of them steel mills. Bill Clinton, when he closed them steel mills and let them fucking go overseas. Yeah. Yeah, 64 is treacherous. Oh, yeah. It's gotten better over the years from when I first went down there in 03. But 64 is still rough. Yeah. Oh, okay. I appreciate you. Thanks, Pause and Play, man. I appreciate you. You know, I know we're supposed to be doing 2A, but, you know, sometimes it's just good to chop it up with people. And I think this kind of helps people understand where I'm coming from, because I've been to some of these places. I've been to a lot of these places, and I've seen it. Let me tell you something. I got out and walked and been some places I know I ain't have no business. For my New Yorkers, when you cross the Throsneck Bridge, there's a set of projects that sit down at the foot of that bridge, the Throsneck Projects, where Chi Ali killed that dude at. I went in them damn projects one day. I was young and crazy back then. I said, shit. Back then, I was always wanting to know where the hood at. What's going on, Twin Jen? I was always wanting to know where the hood at. Shit. Yeah, broccoli and cauliflower. You right about that. Oh, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate the love y'all giving me. That's why I can tell y'all, look, I don't know everything about everything. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. And I just like to have you guys from time to time, guys and girls from time to time, let you know some of y'all where y'all live, I've been there before. And I know what some of your struggles is a little bit different. Because everywhere is different. But just to let you guys know that it's the same and it's different. So you just have to be aware of where you are. Like I said, some of these places, man, it has been wild, you know. It has been wild. But yeah, man, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, New York State, like I said, it's another place. New York is New York City, and New York State is like night and day. That is like you can almost say upstate New York and New York City, and we got Twin Jen in the building too. Shout out to you, brother. You can say New York State and New York City is on two totally different continents. That's just how much different those two places are. Upstate New York, like Glens Falls, uh, Buffalo, Schenectady, Poughkeepsie, Binghamton, I can just Niagara Falls. I can go on and on. And you go to New York City, and it's totally different. That's like being on another planet to itself. And then all the boroughs have a different feeling to it. Staten Island, to me, Staten Island made me feel like I was going to damn Little Italy. Like Italy when I went to Staten Island. Okay. Yeah, like Staten Island. Um, the Bronx. I don't. The Bronx. I kind of don't know how to describe my being an outsider about the Bronx. Now I'll tell you one thing I didn't know. That the Bronx had as many Puerto Ricans as they had until one day to I got out to yeah. Oh man, that's fine, man. We just glad we appreciate you for tuning through. The Bronx just Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Queens, yeah. Long Island, yeah, they all those places feel different, especially to an outsider, you know what I mean? What is that, the Brooklyn? No, I don't live in New York. I just been through there. I used to deliver there a lot, and I used to go out on Long Island a lot. So, yeah, New York, like I said, New York City and New York, and then Jersey. When you go to Jersey, Jersey feels different than being in New York, even though you're in that Northeast corridor. Yeah, man. I feel well. Things starting to change. It's little bit by little bit, but at one time you couldn't even have a damn handgun in New York City. So it's taken a long time, but places like this, Dr. T and other places, Twin Gin, Eyes and Ears, everybody doing gun too, we slowly getting the narrative change. New Jersey, I've been to Patterson. Patterson is wild. And Bordentown. Bordentown, New Jersey is another wild place. I can tell you, Bordentown is another wild place. Let me see. One day I was coming from Long Island. I was on my way to, because I used to go to Cinema Riches out there. I was going back to South Carolina. It was the first time I ever seen a Puerto Rican Day Parade. I didn't even know what the Puerto Rican flag looked like. And I was coming across the GW off the Cross Bronx. All my New Yorkers, y'all know what I'm talking about. When you leave the Bronx, the 495, they call the 95 right there, they call it the Cross Bronx. No, I live in Iowa. I was coming across the Cross Bronx, and we were going across the bridge to GW. And I see all these people blowing their horns and waving these flags and shit. And I was asking somebody, well, what the hell going on with all these people? Oh, okay, I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I'm wondering. So I asked somebody, well, what the hell going on with all these crazy people out here? And they was like, you didn't know driving today, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I said, the what? And it was like, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And I said, oh. I said, oh, okay, yeah. I said, oh, okay. So I went in Jersey. I stopped in Jersey to kind of just watch this parade and what have you. And then, you know, I got from up there, I had to get going. But, yeah, the Northeast, like I said, Delaware. I didn't think Delaware has some rough spots like it does. You know, another place that's Maryland. For if you never knew, Maryland got an Eastern Shore, and it's like night and day. Okay, um, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee. Yeah, Maryland got an Eastern Shore. So you cross that Bay Bridge and then you in the, what's going on? Appreciate you for stopping through. You cross that bridge, that Bay Bridge, and you in the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and it don't feel nothing like being over around Baltimore and Jessup. Because people talk about Baltimore. Jessup just as damn bad. And so yeah, man, like I say, a lot of these places I've been to and I've gotten out and I've gotten to see. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say this. New York is like kind of ethnically segregated. Like the Jamaicans have an area. I didn't know recently until about the Haitians. But I knew the Italians, the Jews, the ones, is that Ashkenazi, Orthodox, the ones who have the two little curls coming down right here. Shit, when you going up the Brooklyn Queens Expressway and you get to Brooklyn, that's all you see walking by the damn bridge is them. And them damn overcoats out in the damn summertime. Yeah, the Asians, the Dominicans, Hasidic. Okay, the Hasidics. Yeah, New York City is very ethnically and racially segregated. And I didn't know, the only city in New York I have yet to see, and I'm seeing it's not going to be what I was looking for, but I still want to go, is Harlem. That's the only city in New York that has escaped me. The only city. I've never got to go to Harlem. But, yeah, New York City. Now, when you get out on the island even kind of, ethnically segregated, and you just have to know your way around to understand where you at, yeah, like I said, Florida, man, you name these places, man, through the 5 boroughs. Yeah, you know what? Now, one thing about New York is a parking nightmare, but being on that bike, you be all right. New York is a parking nightmare, boy. My goodness. Everywhere charge you to park. Even the damn hotels, the majority of them don't have parking. Let me give people a piece of advice. If you're ever going to go and visit New York City, try Ubering or taking the little trolley cars and shit that they have to go do stuff. Oh, yeah, I've had to be lost up there driving a truck. Yeah, I've had to be lost up there. It's no fun, man. You got all these low bridges for people who won't go drive a truck. You got to pay attention to the bridges and the roads real close in New York, because you will hit a low bridge. You will run up under a bridge. Yeah. You definitely got to, New York, watch Bonehead Truckers, man. You definitely got to know your way driving a semi through New York. And everybody drives, when the light turns green, you hear everybody peeling off, trying to get to the next red light. Yeah, it's like that. Let me see. Like I said, I just a lot of places that I've gotten a chance to go to, and see and watch grow. And, I just try and tell everybody to be careful, practice your Second Amendment, whatever you're allowed to have in your state. You may not like the restrictions, but you know what? Get what you can get. And like I said, you have people like me and other people that's working on trying to get it level across the board. But in the meantime, you got to protect yourself, because like I say, it can happen any place, anytime, anywhere, for anything. And you just never know, Virginia, like I said, I done been all to Virginia. Newport News, Virginia Beach. That going up, what is that? Is that Highway 1? Yep, keep your physical health up. Is that Highway 1? The Chesapeake Bay? Man, when it's not raining, When it's sunny, man, that is one of the most beautiful scenes you ever gonna see in your life. Going up that Chesapeake Bay, that water, man, and people out sailing. It's almost like something you see on a postcard. And then you go to Western Virginia, man, ain't nothing but mountains over there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That Chesapeake Bay Bridge, man. My goodness. My goodness. Another thing, if you've never been up to, especially the Northeast, do not, do not, do not get on none of them bridges up there and take a picture while you're driving off that bridge, because there's cameras up there and they will stop you. That is a no-no. Cold country also. Okay, that's Western Virginia, right? That would be like on the western part of the state. You know what? Some of them places, man, some of them Virginia, West Virginia, after it snows and when the roads clear up, when the roads is real drivable, but the snow still caps the mountains and the trees, it's beautiful. Or when the sun is out, man, and everything is green, it's beautiful, man. This country have a lot of beautiful sights. You just got to know how to navigate. You just got to learn how to navigate. This country have a lot of beautiful sight to it, you know. But yeah, man, like I said, I didn't have a chance, man, to do it from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from Canada to Mexico, man, from up in the Northeast to down in the Southwest, you know, and yeah, it's wild, man. It's some wild places, you know. It's like I said, I like New York. Don't think I could ever live there, just because of the amount of congestion. Um, Philly. I mean, I like Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, all right. Because there used to be a time where, when I was with Swift, when I would come off home time, they would send me up there to Joe Biden's hometown, to Scranton. I used to go to Scranton because there was a Procter and Gamble up there. I used to be on Interstate 81 all the time. Yeah, I like upstate. Upstate is, you know, yeah, man. Like I said, Vermont, Rhode Island, shit, Providence. You might as well call Providence, Puerto Rico. Shit, the damn Puerto Ricans run Rhode Island. They all over Providence. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, you know, just like I said, for some of these places, man, I thought I was gonna see this and see that, and I just got a chance to see what it was. Orlando, yeah, yeah. Orlando is is one of them places. You gotta know where you're going, but it's beautiful. To me, I think Florida is beautiful country. Kingstree, South Carolina. I might have been through there. I can't recall. Charleston, Pageland. I used to pick up in Georgetown at Kurt Wise Greenhouses. I used to run out of that. Yeah. Yeah, Florida is beautiful. Okay, at Lakeland Air Force Base. Okay. I got a chance to go to Cape Canaveral. To the Space Center to see the spaceships. I got a chance to go there. I also got a chance to see the Carnival ships that dock in and out of there. But yeah, man, Florida is expensive, but it's a beautiful state. You know, the scenery is really, really beautiful, man. That water, out by Tampa, Clearwater. Yeah, that's what I was telling somebody. Interstate 10 in Florida, and then South Florida is like night and day. When I went out to, my daughter had a competition out in Lakeland, and we went out to Clearwater. Shit. You go up to certain parts of Florida, yeah, they got some. You a hillbilly? um, we went out to Clearwater, man. That water was clear looking at the Gulf of Mexico, you know? So, yeah, man, like I said, when I talk to you guys and girls about getting loaded, yeah. When I talk to you guys about getting legally armed and stuff, it's because a lot of y'all places, like I said, I might not always recall right on hand, but I've been through them. I know what some of y'all issues is, and you know, it's just good to talk about it, man, and just let everybody know. That's why I say we're a worldwide movement. Hopefully I can be going to some other countries. You guys have seen my videos down there in Mexico. Them boys have approached me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. We had a little quick conversation. I let them know who I was with, and knock on wood, nothing has ever happened to me. Yeah. Oh, because of the hills, yeah. Yeah, you know, so. Okay, you like my cup? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So at the end of the day, yeah, man, you know what? I'm glad we go to small town Mexico, man. I just go down there and relax. I take it easy. If I'm down there a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I eat, I ride around, I have fun, and I just deflate. But I still like to film that while I'm down there, because no matter what country I go to, I'm going to do my best to try and show positive images of the places. I can show y'all some negative images down there, but I just refuse to do that. That's not what I go there for. If I go to a country that somebody else that might tune into this channel is, I want to look for nice things about the place to show people. There's enough negativity out here. Yeah, oh yeah. So, with that being said, everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I was going to do this probably for 30 minutes, and we've been going for 2 hours. I appreciate gun talk with y'all. We definitely going to have to do this again. I can't say for a fact, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try on Monday nights for people who just got in here, between the hours of 7 and 9. If I don't have a previous engagement to do a live stream, we'll just try, I'll probably just call it gun talk. We'll talk about guns, we'll talk about some of the laws and stuff out there, and then we'll just chop it up, you know? Kind of just let everybody laugh, giggle, we'll have fun in the comment section. And man, sometimes it's just good to fellowship. It's good for the heart, it's good for the body. I told you guys and girls, this is the nutritious channel. This is the cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. Straight up. I appreciate everybody that was able to tune in. If you catch us on the replay, I appreciate you. People, please get legally armed. Please. To all the content creators, I appreciate you guys and girls, what y'all do. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm working on getting my StreamYard together. You know, I'm still a tech dinosaur, but I'm working on getting all that stuff together so I can bring people up. If you do GunTube, if you view GunTube, I appreciate you guys and girls more than y'all ever know. Even if I don't know your channel and you have a channel, because you're making a contribution. I'm going to give you a good piece of advice for GunTube. Stick to what works for you, because all of us got some input, and everybody knows something else that somebody else may not know or have a different perspective. I try and use my own personal knowledge, my own personal experience, not only in New Orleans, but living here in Iowa, but also being a trucker and being able to see the rest of the country. That's why I just wanted to let you guys and girls know I've been to some of these other places, and I kind of know how it is. That's why I beg everybody to get armed. You know what I'm saying? It is our right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And until next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert, and we out.